All right, in example 3 or practice problem 3, you're now talking about a centroid. A centroid deals with median lines. Okay, so a median is a line that would come out of a vertex and it would hit the midpoint of the opposite side. Basically midpoint, like another word for using midpoint would be bisector. You know, it bisects the opposite side, cuts it in half. So if a line comes out of the vertex and it hits the midpoint of the opposite side, that's known as a median. And all three of these lines are medians, meaning that each line or each side of the triangle is getting cut in half equally. So this is congruent to that. This segment's congruent to that segment. This segment congruent to that segment. All right. And then what else does that point in the middle, it's known as the centroid. What that does is it causes that line to be cut into like a 1/3, 2/3 ratio. All right. Where we'll look at line YR. See how this segment here is smaller than that segment? This is the 1/3 size. This is the 2/3 size. Segment QR is 1/3 the size of the whole line. Segment YQ is 2/3 the size of the whole line. So to answer this, you kind of have two options you can go, or two routes you can go. Option 1, these lines are medians, so Q is the centroid. All right, so ZQ, that's what we're looking for. ZQ, that's from here to here. That's the 2/3 size. And we have ZD. That's the measure of the whole line from Z to D. So it's a 6. So I decided, okay, let's break this thing up into thirds first. Let me divide by 3. So 6 divided by 3 is 2. That means I have third measures of a 2, a 2, and a 2. Well, if the 1/3 segment is the 2, if I want that 2/3 segment, it just means to double the size of DQ. You know, 2/3 is twice the size of 1/3. So if I double the 2, I would get 4, and therefore ZQ is 4. Option 2, take the measure of the entire line and just multiply it by 2/3 because I'm looking for ZQ, and ZQ is the 2/3 measure, the 2/3 segment. So I multiply 6 by 2/3 and I get an answer of 4, which is my answer for ZQ. Right, problem 4. All right. In problem 4, same situation, got 3 medians, that's a centroid. All right, all these little segments are congruent to each other. Finding RK. Okay, so we need to find the whole measure this time. And it gives us DK. DK is the 1/3 size. All right, DK is the 1/3 segment. That means RD is the 2/3 segment, so it's twice the size of this one. Well, if this segment is 3.4, then if you double that, that means that this segment would be 6.8. Well, if you add the two together, you get the whole length. 3.4 plus 6.8 gives us 10.2. Problem 5. All right, again, same situation. 3 medians, cuts the opposite sides in half. If we have line BE, okay, BE, that's the whole thing. We've got line BE, it's 3.9. We want to find both BG, that's the 1/3 segment, and GE, that's the 2/3 segment. So I decided to just multiply this time. For BG, since that's the 1/3 segment, that means we're doing 1/3 times the entire measure of BE. Or in other words, 1/3 times 3.9, which gives us 1.3. That's the measure of BG. And if GE is 2/3 the size of the whole thing, or BE, then we do 3.9 times 2/3, and we get 2.6. Notice that that measure is exactly twice the size of that measure. And if you were to add the two together, you'd get the whole measure of 3.9.